want to see Haunting Adeline on a 16-year-old's shelf. That just shouldn't happen in any way or form. I love a polarizing book. Like, okay, what are we so mad about? Let's go find out. Why is that the title of your book? Like, of course I'll read it. Okay, sure. I am coming out of what happens to be a very terrible flu, and it's Christmas. Let's talk about Bookmas. This is Bookmas 24, meaning I finished the series if you're seeing this. I started my YouTube in 2020, which is really huge for me because it's something I always wanted to do, and I've always been like, Vlogmas, Vlogmas, Vlogmas. Incorrect. What I needed to do was Bookmas. I can't do a Vlogmas, it's not real. But Bookmas I could do, and I actually did. So I'm really proud of myself. It took me like 5 years to do it. I would say I started taking it seriously in like 2022. That's when I also shifted to short form, so it didn't make sense, and that's why it's never lined up. I still can't believe I did it this year, even if it's a little late, but it's okay. I was at the finish line, going strong, and then I got the flip. A version of me would have gave up and just deleted all the videos. I'm like, okay, no. This version of me is going to post at some point before the 30th. That is my new deadline because I'm not superhuman. And what am I supposed to do if I could barely stand? My point for this is always post like nobody's watching because I've actually never been prouder of this channel. But let's get into the meat and potatoes of this, the 26 books that I want to read in 2026. Looking towards the future and maybe some future videos you'll see. Chopper, this is not about you. Let me get my list because we're not going to be disorganized this time around. Here's the trusty list. Now, number 1 through 14 are all the Zodiac Academy books. And I know you're probably like thinking that's most of the list. Yes, it is. However, 14 books don't intimidate me. I'm a One Piece fan, okay? Thousands of chapters. This is nothing. And as I mentioned multiple times, I can't do the whole toe dip into the world and then be normal about it. I also have a feeling I'm really going to like them combining academy and magic and all that. That's in all of my favorite animes and it's in a lot of my favorite books. So it just makes sense. I love this. I wanted to give myself the space to have all 14 of them. Books 1 through 9 are actual Zodiac Academy. Here, I'm going to probably put the title somewhere in this video, but I'm going to read them super quick, right? Zodiac Academy, The Awakening, Ruthless Fate, The Reckoning, Shadow Princess, Cursed Fate, Fated Thrones, Heartless Skies, Sorrow and Starlight, Restless Stars. It was 14 is because the Ruthless Boys of Zodiac are a interconnected series that I've seen from the reading order that people read like in between the books. I'm trying to do one straight shot and do the recommended order from the fans. I still haven't figured that out yet. I need to do more research because I'm seeing conflicting things. But those books are Ruthless Boys of Zodiac, Dark Fae, Savage Fae, Vicious Fae, Broken Fae, Warrior Fae. Quite a bit. If I don't make it through all 14, I can see myself making it at least through a solid 10. The next, Serpent and the Wings of the Night, it has been on my TBR for as long as I've had a Kindle. It's been sitting there and I keep downloading it and then I pick up something else and I just undownload it because I need the space. This time when I download it, I'm gonna read it. I'm determined this year. I really fell off on fantasy this year, did a lot of contemporary romance, so I'm trying to correct that in 2026, which brings us to our next one. Throne of the Fallen, another fantasy book. Tired of myself. I don't even remember the premise on this one. I remember it looked nice. I think a lot of my fantasy choices are based off the covers, and I'm not ashamed of that. Lord of the Wilds. This was definitely because of the cover, because, hello, they're giving. But also, we support Black authors, and I remember this author did a campaign when this book launched. I wanted to buy it, but a $30 hardcover was not in my budget at the time. Now I'm thinking she's making a list for 2026. A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. Now this one, do I watch the show or do I read the book? Which one? I don't know. But the show has been really tempting me and I know the book is good. I talked about it with my best friend for a while. I think it was this one and Housemaid that she had recommended in like the thriller space because that's more her kind of thing. So I want to dive into it. I don't know if I want to do Housemaid because I know the movie's coming out too. But I know for sure I want to do A Good Girl's Guide to Murder because I just... Why is that the title of your book? Like, of course I'll read it. Okay, sure. It's kind of like Jeanette McCurdy's I'm Glad My Mom Died. Like, yes, I'll read your book. Title, you didn't have to go that hard. Oh, next one, Love Theoretically. I think this is the Ali Hazelwood book, or a series that people originally knew her for, the one with all the women in STEM. I get that part. I'm just reading it because the main character is meant to look like Nanami Kento from Jujutsu Kaisen, and if you're a Jujutsu Kaisen fan, you know we are in mourning. So I want to read that to get a little bit of him in my life. Once Upon a Broken Heart, another, actually I'll put these two together, 20 and 21. Caraval, I might be lying. I'm 99% sure these are the two series that, again, people say are interconnected. My track record when it comes to interconnected standalones is good, but when you get to interconnected standalones or series that are interconnected, it gets a little bit muddy. So I want to do this one too. I might be being ambitious, but I've always had this on my list. The covers are just so beautiful. My favorite one that I've seen so far for Once Upon a Broken Heart, of course all the special editions are beautiful, but like cover will do it for me every time. I always thought that cover was beautiful. And I think Caraval is related, so I want to make sure I read it, not in like the publishing order, but in the best way for world building order, if that makes sense. Whatever order I have to do those two. The next two are controversial reads because controversy. Light Lark. I want to know if people just hate the author or their book is really that bad. I'm starting to think that people hate the author because, you know, happy women, successful women. But if there's a part of this I don't know, let me know. However, I still want to be the judge for myself, so I will be reading that book. I'll probably get it on Kindle, not physical. I have to see what people are so up in arms about. And I liked her marketing where her talking about she's, you know, graffitiing on her books by signing them. I think it was fun and cute. I did not realize it was going to be that easy to trigger people on the internet though. Real sad. Next one is Powerless. This is another one people say it's so bad. I don't know if it's one of those things, you know, people just hate popular book talk books. Maybe that's what it is. I recently saw something on Reddit claiming plagiarism, but you know, people on the internet be talking, so I don't know how true that is. If it is true though, yikes. But also if it's true, wouldn't some publisher or editor have figured out that they probably shouldn't publish that? Or does that happen commonly? Do people just get away with publishing plagiarized books? I don't think that makes sense, but we'll see. 24 is Manacled. Now, funny story, I watched all the Harry Potter books, but it's fuck J.K. Rowling for life. And I never actually read them when I was younger. I wanted to read them, but again, it's fuck J.K. Rowling. So I'm like, okay, how can I get a little bit of that world without supporting this hoe at all? Manacled. Fanfic from this series. I think it's Hermione and Malfoy. I think. If not, I'm referring to a different book, but I know it's a fanfic and I know it's well loved, almost as well loved as a series on Book Talk, which is insane because, you know, the fans of that series can be a little bit whoa. So, okay, I'm excited to dive into this. I'm sad I didn't get to enjoy the books, but there's a limit in separating the art, and she is a scum of the earth human being. Icebreaker. Now, this one is just funny because the whole lady who bought her daughter this book in Target, and apparently there is some explicit content. Now, okay, yes, maybe books should have some kind of warning, and maybe, you know, the like animated style doesn't necessarily give adults, but there are adult animations. It's kind of on you as a parent to check. I feel like if you would have read the blurb, you probably should have known that maybe it wasn't for kids, maybe, or maybe just an intro page. Knowing what I know about books, I will be definitely doing some research before I hand any potential future kids of mine a book, because I be seeing some bookshelves on TikTok. You know, actually, let me get to line because I was definitely reading Twilight at 10. Maybe it's not that bad, but some of this stuff, like, I don't want to see Haunting Adeline on a 16-year-old's shelf. That just shouldn't happen in any way or form. However, Icebreaker is clearly not that. I think it's probably just whatever. With as much, I bet so. We're gonna find out though, because I need to know. I love a polarizing book. Like, okay, what are we so mad about? Let's go find out. Ooh, A Love Letter to Whiskey. I say ACOTAR brought me back, and it did. But a couple months before I read ACOTAR in I think October of 2023, and that's what really like. I read 40 books, I think, from October 2023 to December 2023. But before that, I actually dabbled a little bit. I don't know where I found this series or how it came up to me. I think it was an Instagram ad of sorts with a clip from the book. And I read this series. Is it the Fair Catch series? Is that what the whole series is called? I forget, honestly. But it starts with Fair Catch, and it's also Candy Steiner. And I liked it. I liked it enough that I read all the way through. So it goes Fair Catch, Blindside, Quarterback Sneak, and Hail Mary. It was my first dabble into sports romance. It's a football romance. And I don't like real football, I'm not gonna lie. I like any sport live though. Like, I will attend any game and like, woo, I love a stadium and the atmosphere and the food. Yeah, I'm not a sport girl. I thought the sports would ruin it for me. However, I should have realized I might not be a sport girl, but I am an athlete girl. All that to say, the next book on my list is A Love Letter to Whiskey, which is also by Candy Steiner, and I hear that people love it, love it, love it. I want to see why. The next one on the list should have been on top with the rest of them. This is another one of my Kindle fantasies. Download, delete. Now I know. I think I'm just an audiobook fantasy kind of girl. I get through those a lot better. I also think I retain a lot more of the information, and the world building doesn't feel as overwhelming. So maybe I'll do that. But Flame and Sparrow was on that list again, mostly from the cover, and I just seen it pop up enough times. My criteria to read something is pretty low. If I see it pop up a couple times and I like the cover, I'm eventually gonna get my hands on it. That's pretty much where I'm at these days, because I haven't read much in the past couple of years. There's still so much to read, and I think while I'm loving romance now, I never would have thought, let's say, like I'd like a rugby romance. So I'm not taking out any genres or subgenres because I actually don't know what I like. I think I'm finding that out as we go, but I know for sure that I like romance and fantasy, and I'm guessing this is a romantasy or a fantasy, so I'm gonna stick with that, and I feel like that's a safe bet. How did I get on this tangent? I don't really know. Anyways, the last book is The Housemaid. Oh, there you go. I was supposed to transition into this, which gets me back to trying out some thriller. What is that? Is there another name for that category? Thriller? Horror, maybe? I don't know if this is horror, but that kind of space. I don't know. Maybe I've read some books like that, but the books that I read close to that feel just more dark than like the thriller horror space. So maybe I'll creep into that a little bit. To be fair, life is horrifying enough. I don't need to be horrified in the books. I'm here for the happy ending. I'm here for a different world that does not suck like this one. I don't know if I'll stick with it, but I do want to try it because those are some really big ones that people love. Hey, why are you just staring at them like that? Is that my cue? Like, stop talking, that we're done? Okay, I think we're done. Well, this is officially the end of Bookmas. I cannot believe I filmed all these videos. But you know what? If I can do 24 in a month, I can still do 8 every other month, right? Say right. I need some encouragement here. Hopefully I'll see you throughout the rest of 2026.
No one's gonna stop me.